This is your no bullshit guide to a happier life. Quick, but not necessarily easy tips to help you to squeeze every last drop of enjoyment out of your business and your life. My name is Helen Calvert. I'm a coach, a business owner and a parent, and I'm so happy to be here with you. I do swear occasionally, as the title suggests, so pop in your headphones if I'm not safe for little ears. Ready to go? Let's do this. Hello and welcome to this episode where we are going to be talking about the tools that we use to help ourselves. What do we have in our toolkit? I will say right off the bat that this is not a podcast about good habits and consistency. This is a podcast about using the appropriate tools on the appropriate days. I know that there are a lot of people out there who will drum into you the idea that being consistent with good habits will change your life and help you reach your goals. That may well be true, but I believe that consistency is extremely difficult for most people to achieve. I believe that there are elements of consistency that are really useful, but trying to do the same thing every day or even every week is really challenging, particularly if you are a woman who has a monthly cycle, because your energy levels and your confidence, your self-belief, what you want, how you feel, that all changes cyclically every 4 weeks in a fairly predictable pattern, but it makes consistency a real challenge. And yes, it is good to challenge ourselves and push ourselves, but I think it's counterproductive to push ourselves beyond what is reasonable. I have an approach that is a little different, which is thinking about things as tools. We have a big toolkit, and the older we get, the more we put into it. And it's knowing when and how to use the tools that we have. Now, I've talked before about meeting our needs and understanding and knowing what those needs are. The things that we do to meet our needs, they're definitely part of the toolkit. So coffee and hot showers and comfy clothes and walks in the sunshine and a nice drive with my tunes on, those are all things that I do to meet my needs, and they are all tools in my toolkit. So that's the first set of tools that it's really important that you have a keen awareness of. The things that you need in order to feel good, the things that make your day easier, the things that make your day more pleasant, that make you more productive, those are all tools in your toolkit. But we can't do everything all at once. So we might be thinking, okay, I need to eat healthily and I need to exercise and I need to get a handle on my finances and I need to meditate and I need to have a better idea of what I should be wearing every day. I should go and see that stylist I've been thinking about, and I need to get a grip on my business branding, and I need on and on it goes. We can't do everything every day. So we have to decide which tools are relevant for that day. What tool do I need today? Because there will be some days when your body will tell you that the most important tool you can access that day is some healthy food. It's like, do you know what? Yeah, that's what I really need to focus on today, healthy eating. There are going to be other days when what you really need to get a grip on is your finances. You need to have a look at all the tools that you've got in your toolkit for budgeting and getting a handle on the money. And you're going to feel like eating cake while you do that. And that's okay, because we can't use all the tools all of the time. Saying yes to one thing always means saying no to something else. That's just part of life. So if you're training for a marathon, for instance, you're saying yes to exercise, but you might, depending on your training schedule, you might be saying no to having lie-ins. Now, that might not be an issue for you. You might be an early riser, not even a problem. Or a nice lie-in every now and again could be a part of your toolkit that actually, you really not just enjoy, but you feel like you need. It fills your cup. It gives you something back. So you have to be aware that you're saying no to using that tool for the time that you're training. How's that going to feel? What other tools can you use instead to replace that or to mitigate the loss of it? It's just being savvy with what tools you're using and not just expecting your body and mind to just perform however you want them to without any of the tools or input that they need. You know, we can say yes to the comfort that a nice hearty meal brings, and we can accept that, okay, so today I'm saying no to calorie counting. That's not a good or a bad thing. It's just understanding what we're saying yes and no to because of the tools we need to use that day. The ultimate goal, I would say, is that we keep functioning so that we can reach the goals we talked about last time, these things we want out of life. If we stop functioning well, we're not going to get anywhere. So the goal when we think about our toolbox is to keep our bodies and minds running the way we need them to, so that we can do the things we want to do. We've covered a huge amount so far in these podcasts. We've talked about business growth, productivity, self-belief, personal development, family life. We need our tools to do any of that stuff well. If you are trying to put in place anything that I've suggested, anything that I've said, you know, you need a lot of tools in your toolkit, and you need to not be beating yourself up for not using all of them, for not using them consistently, for not doing everything every day, because that's just not going to happen. It's just not possible. New tools, when we bring new tools into the toolkit, sometimes people can talk about things as fads, or, oh, it's the latest craze, it's the latest thing. Actually, it's totally fine because you want lots of tools. So if you spent 3 years doing Zumba and then you gave it up and now you do Pilates, there's no reason to feel as though you failed at consistency with not doing Zumba for literally the rest of your life. It was a really useful tool at the time. You'll be able to tell me what it gave you, what it did for you, and now you're using a different tool to achieve the same thing or to achieve something slightly different. And that tool is always in your toolbox. There might come a day where you think, do you know what, actually, I really fancy some Zumba. I know what it does for me. I know what it gives me. I'm going to do that. I'm going to use that tool today. It's fine to be a bit faddy. It's okay, unless you have a specific goal relating to that tool. So if you start practicing martial arts and your goal is to become a black belt, okay, you're going to need to stick at martial arts. There's not much point giving it up and doing tennis. But if your goal is to get strong, get healthy, get fit, move your body, do something active, do something that takes you away from the desk, it doesn't matter if you do martial arts 1 year, tennis the next, and hockey the next. It's still achieving your goal. And it's all useful tools. So I think it's really important to have and try lots of tools. And the thing that can sometimes hold us back, which is our mindset block for this episode, is that we don't always value ourselves enough to use them. Partly because we get ourselves into this mindset that somehow we failed if we don't use them every day. So there was that time when we did a run every day and we felt so amazing and consistent and so good about ourselves, and then it kind of dropped off and we didn't bother. And now every time we think about running, we feel guilty because we didn't continue doing it every day, and so now we can never run again. Actually, that's just a story you're telling yourself. And in reality, every time you run, it's good for your health and it's good for your mindset, or it gives you whatever it gave you those first few days. And you can run anytime you want, and you can swim anytime you want, and you can dance anytime you want. It doesn't matter that you haven't done it for a while, but it's valuing yourself enough to forgive yourself, to recognize that it's all just tools, and to make sure that you're using them when you need them. We can know that a good walk in the sunshine or a meditation session or a massage is going to make us feel so much better. But these things all take time And as I said, saying yes to one thing means saying no to another. So saying yes to having a massage one evening might mean saying no to putting your kids to bed that night. Someone else might have to do that for you, instead of you, rather, not for you. It's not necessarily your job to do all these things every day. But that's okay. It's okay to say yes to using our tools and filling our cup and fulfilling our needs. And saying yes to anything that helps us to stay functioning and reaching our goals and getting to where we want to be is beneficial for everybody around us, especially if we've had those conversations we talked about last time, making sure that the people in our lives are on the same page with the goals that we have. Then we're all on the same page of just trying to keep ourselves in tip-top condition to get to where we want to be. But it can be a real blockage to using our tools when we feel as though we're not worth that time or energy or input or inconvenience to other people. You know, I'd really like to be able to go out for a swim this morning, so that means you might need to do the school run, or I might need to ask for help with something else. We have to value ourselves enough to make those suggestions and to come up with the creative solutions to get those things done. But it's important as well to understand what the tools are in the toolbox of the people around us, because there will be some things that the people in our lives do which annoy us or are confusing to us, or we don't even understand why they do it. But it might turn out that actually these are some of their tools and they need to use them and they need our help in using them. So it's a conversation to have with people around you as well. What are your tools? What do you need to do to fill your cup? How can we structure our days, weekends, lives, months, years so that we all get to use our tools when we need them, and understanding what those tools are? So the message for today really is have a lot of tools. Don't be afraid to have a lot of tools. Try new things all the time. That one time you did that thing that felt really good, it's fine that you never did it again, or it's fine if you go back to it, or it's fine if you do it for 3 weeks and then don't do it ever again or until 3 months from now. It doesn't matter. It's all tools in your toolbox for keeping you on track for where you want to be. And say yes to using your tools. Understand which tools you're saying no to or which needs you're not fulfilling when you say yes to other things. It's all about awareness of how we are looking after ourselves and how we are expecting our bodies and minds to function, and the ways in which we can encourage them to function the best that they can. So don't worry too much about consistency, and forgive yourself for having a short attention span for some of these tools, and forgive yourself for not having dug some of them out of the toolbox for years or for months. All of that is okay. The only thing that is a problem is when we don't use the tools that we know we need because we don't feel that we're worth that time or investment. So, until next time, get your toolbox out, be excessively kind to yourself, and remember to squeeze every last drop of enjoyment out of life. See you next time. Thank you so much for listening. It's great to have you along for the ride. If you enjoyed the episode, I'd be so grateful if you could leave me a review. And don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are up. If you identified a mindset block during the episode and would like to work with me one-to-one, you can find out how in the show notes. See you next time.